Hi, this is David James with Beyond the Charts, and I'm here with Tosca Lee. She has just written and published a new book called Iscariot. It is the story of Judas, and it's from Judas' perspective, but ultimately it's a story about Jesus. And so I'm here to ask her a few questions about the writing process, and about her other books, and also about Iscariot. So, Tosca, how you doing today? Yeah, now you're making Atlanta signing, and is this the last stop on your tour?
This is the last stop, and then it's time for me to go home and get back to work.
Okay. So, well, tell us, when you do you already have some stuff prepared for your next thing, or are you going to be starting fresh?
I do. I've already started my next book. So, yeah. Are you asking what it is? Okay.
Well, if you want to say,
I'm writing about the Queen of Sheba.
Oh, that's going to be good. That's going to be good.
I hope so.
How cool. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit here. Because you've got 3 books published under your own name, 2 with Ted Decker, a 3rd one on the way, because it's a trilogy that you guys have written together. So tell me something. What got you to want to write?
You know what? I've been writing my whole life. I wrote as a young girl. I wrote in junior high school, and it wasn't until I went to college that I said that I'd really like to write a novel. And so I wrote my first novel then. So I was doing it for a long time without even thinking about it. And finally I realized what I really like doing is maybe, these really cool books that I love to read, I would like to take a reader on a ride like that. So I would like to see if I could construct this kind of literary roller coaster that other people could ride on too.
Okay, and if you're anything like most writers, I bet Demon was not your first try.
No, it was not. It was my third, or at least my 3rd try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was your first one published.
My first novel published.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. So tell us just a little bit of the process that wound up causing Demon to be your first one published outside of the rest of them. Was your first one finished or your first one published?
It was my first one published. So the process of how it got published.
Yeah, but basically, like what caused that one to get published in your mind's eye versus how the other ones did?
You know, it was the second novel I actually finished. The first one, I think, had I stayed after it a little longer, and had I actually, stayed after Finding an Agent a little bit harder, and revised the novel, that could very well have been the first one. It even happened to be the one that I revised, got an agent, was completely tenacious for 6 years, and then ultimately ended up getting published.
Okay, great. And for those of you that may be able to see her, this is my little girl Tahila right here. She's hanging with me today. So, okay, so you got Demon published, and then you went off to do college for the and now you got these books with Ted Decker, and now you got Iscariot. So let's just kind of fast forward. How did you like getting hooked up with Ted Decker?
So my first book, Demon, was being released by a publisher that had acquired the rights and was going to put it back out again. And I wrote to Ted and said, how about giving me an endorsement for the cover? This is, it's normal that people have endorsements on the cover. And we started talking, and it turns out, he had heard about me, and his managers had been talking about the possibility of a new co-authored series. So within weeks, we were talking about concepts for a new series, and our agents were talking to me, and all that agent stuff changes.
Okay.
So that was that.
Cool. Now also, you have taken part in a beauty contest and pageants. So how does that history with you? I mean, you were probably writing during that time too, weren't you?
I was. I wasn't publishing anything really, but yeah, definitely. It was a great experience though, and being out on the road and doing interviews and doing book signings, it's really given me a great foundation of experience on how to do those things. Great experience. I totally recommend it.
Okay, great. So now earlier when we were talking off camera, you mentioned that you put a lot of yourself into the novel.
Yeah.
So some of your own personal life wants have been there. Would you care to go into anything for maybe someone who's probably read Demon by now, or probably would want to read Demon? Something that was personal to you that you put into the novel?
Yeah, I mean, there's always personal experiences. I was going through the life change of going through a divorce at the time that I wrote Demon, and that is a major theme of Hava, was really about how do we make relationships work, and I pulled a lot of the experience of my marriage into that book. Iscariot talks about, the theme is legalism, and the letter of the law versus love. And I grew up in a very legalistic church, and so for years we about finding grace again. So these are all themes that come out of my personal life. And there's a lot of emotions and dreams and different things that I there's much in my happening.
Okay, so now let's get to the meat of it. Your new book is Iscariot. What inspired you to write Iscariot? Out of all the things, I mean, I've heard you talk about on the journey what you discovered, but what inspired you to initially write about Iscariot?
Okay, so the editor who acquired my first two books suggested I write the story of Judas. He first actually suggested I write the story of Balaam's donkey, which I had to look up, about a talking donkey, and I wasn't too excited about this idea. I kept having visions of Mr. Ed, so I thought, no. And so he said, well, how about Judas? And I said, no. I rejected both of them out of hand. But the idea of doing the story of Judas just really stuck with me, and I couldn't get rid of it, so there it is.
Alrighty. And I understand from having read some previous interviews that apparently you would talk with people hoping they would talk you out of it, and they just kept thinking
I was hoping that they would talk me out of it. First my agent, then my author friends, and I kept thinking along the way, surely someone's going to say don't do it, and they were all on board with it and thought it was a great idea.
So, tell me something else. You've gone on tour now for Iscariot. You've been on tour with Ted Decker. Did you do any tours for Hava and Dean?
I did several tours. They did like an hour and a half.
Good. So what do you find that, like the pros and the cons when you're going out on tour? What do you find some of the good things that are happening and some of the bad things that are happening?
It's all good. I mean, you're really getting to interact with people that are interested in your stories and learn more about your readers and the spaces behind the pictures on Facebook, and you really get to see them as real life living people, just like they get to see you as a real life living person. So it's really all good. I mean, the only negative things are when you get really tired from flying and stuff like that, but that always happens. So there's really no negatives at all.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds great, then. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun with this.
It's very fun.
And it sounds like, to me, it sounds like you're feeling like you've really found your niche in life.
Thank you. I hope so.
All righty. Well, I hope so too, and I hope that everybody continues to seek her out because she's got these books written. You need to check them out, okay? Demon, Hava, and Iscariot are the ones that she's written by herself. She's got the Book of Mortals trilogy with Ted Decker. Book 3 will be coming out later this year, so you need to check those out as well. This is Book of Mortals, right?
Yes, the Books of Mortals.
Books of Mortals. Okay, I haven't actually read them yet. They're there, but I haven't read them yet. I've been catching up on a few of the other Ted Deckers that I've had on my shelf. But I tell you what, you need to check her out. I've read enough of her now, but I am super impressed, and I'm going to be buying her from now until whenever. So go out, get Iscariot, get Demon, get Hava, get the Books of Mortals series. You're going to enjoy them. You're going to have a good read. Plus, if you happen to like spiritual stuff, and if you happen to have, if you come from a church background, you can probably enjoy these because of that as well. And so I hope you do enjoy them. And once again, this is the DJ with Beyond the Charts, and take care.